So it seems the world has activated segregated witness via BIP 91, which is part of the SegWit 2x proposal, and everyone is freaking out as calmly as possible since SegWit means a lot for the world and a lot for the Bitcoin price. But what does this mean for the much talked about hard fork? What does this mean for the 2x 2 megabyte block size increase agreement? And what's the next major threat looming in the distance for Bitcoin? Let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together, welcome to Minting Coins. So, wow, have you heard? There's some breaking news going on today that we have activated SegWit. It is really, really exciting. The Bitcoin price is pretty much blowing up, and the Bitcoin dominance is definitely taking back some of its percentage as the news is really spreading out and spreading about into everything that's going on, everything that's happening out there in the world. People are really, really excited, and at the same time, I think people are still really, really confused. What does this actually mean? It's sort of, on one hand, everyone's celebrating, but on the other hand, we don't know exactly why we're celebrating. So with that being said, let's take a quick peek into the market, take a look at the prices that are going on over there, and see if we can look at a couple memes and some news and understand exactly what's going on, and let's discuss. Excellent, here we are. So we were 10 or 15 billion dollars down just a couple days ago, and here we are up with $6 billion in trading over the past 24 hours, market cap close to $95 billion. Bitcoin dominance 48.5%. There's just a lot of activity, a lot going on in the world of cryptocurrencies. And this is reflected in the 24-hour volume price per cryptocurrency. Lately, we've seen there be a lot of exchange, a lot of trading with Ethereum, but right now the volume is really overtaking in Bitcoin, overtaking over Ethereum for Bitcoin. And here's the price right here. We see this big jump up 20% in the past 24 hours for Bitcoin alone, pushing a $45 billion market cap and a $2,800 price per Bitcoin. Definitely eyeing that $3,000 price that everyone is very excited for, retouching that point and then really going beyond. And what do we have here? So we have Litecoin not keeping that same price parity, really falling to a 1.5% sort of a price right there. What's going on? I think simply everyone's selling what they have to try to get this Bitcoin, confused if there's going to be a hard fork or not, just excited about the segregated witness. And speaking of excited, let's take a look at some of the memes that are happening in Reddit and some of the news to help us understand what it is that's happening. So people are excited. We are back over $2,700. People really want to touch that $3,000 point again. A lot of people, with all that hype, they were purchasing the Bitcoin just a couple weeks ago at $2,800, $2,900. Some people purchasing in at $3,000 per Bitcoin. So people are super excited that today is a day of history, and today is a day that SegWit has been activated. And so the people who are buying and selling, the people who are versus the people who are holding. Some people have sold their Bitcoin when we hit this dip and it fell as low as $1,800, $900 down from where it is right now. And people thought, wow, this Bitcoin thing is going to not the moon, but to just the rocks on the ground, right? And they might have sold. And what's going on? This is all a trap. All of this FUD, all of this bad news is just to allow more people to get this Bitcoin. Whenever you see this in the news, whenever you hear these bad things happening with companies in Bitcoin, or people in Bitcoin, or people, you know, talking smack or just throwing down shade around Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general, either they have no idea what they're talking about, maybe they're just trying to get ratings or views or clicks with good clickbait, or, you know, good old-fashioned fear, or maybe it's an organized effort to, you know, help manipulate the price, since this is how markets have been operating, and people inside markets have been operating to sort of control when those highs are and when those lows are, knowing that they're trying to increase their portfolios, right? It's sort of a really scary thing. Mostly it's a really sad aspect of the market and a manipulation. But what you could do is that you could be strong for yourself, you could be strong for your future, and you could be like this guy over here, and you could just know everything is fine. You can buy, you can hold, and whatever the price, you know, is going to go to, you're going to be a holder of Bitcoin. You have your private keys, and you're not going to have to worry about all of the market manipulation. You're not going to have to worry about all the fear and uncertainty and doubt that's coming from either family or friends or people at work or the news in general. Let it be the blogs that you read or the mainstream media. Buy and hold, understand the principles, the fundamentals of the way this technology works, how Bitcoin is limited, and now you understand, or we're going to look into this a little bit deeper, how SegWit has been implemented. And so I think this is the meme of the day. This is the one that I really like. Segregated witness me. You know, this is a day of history. Just that we have SegWit activated on the Bitcoin network. So turning over to xbt.eu, this is a website that is tracking the implementation of BIPs, and here we are. They have listed BIP 91 locked in, threshold achieved. We have some of the other ones in here that is talking about with BIP 91, NYA, SegWit, BU, other, and BIP 91 SegWit activated with over 80% of the blocks signaling. And so here we are over here in coin.dance/blocks, and we're showing a BIP 91 locked in. SegWit 2x 91%. BIP 91 has been locked in, locked and loaded, ready to go. SegWit is active. You know, again, SegWit will activate. We are, let's see, what is our exact percentage? If let's refresh. Yep, we are at 83.9%, and I don't think there's any going back here. So what's going on? So we have this visual representation of some of this debate, and this is from CoinDesk. And keep in mind that CoinDesk has is owned by a company that has an ownership stake in Coinbase, and Coinbase and Coinbase.com is a company that is pro SegWit 2x. They are pro big block size, and they are pro, you know, these miners having more control and the businesses having more control of the blockchain with having a bigger block size moving forward. So some of this information just could be skewed, perhaps ever so slightly, you know, just to not make something abundantly clear. But at a high level, if we look at this information, what's happening here, and so this is really clear for you, is that we had BIP 91, and then separate from BIP 91, we had BIP 148. Let's see if I can increase this a little bit more for us. And so this is BIP 148 that everyone has been talking about. And BIP 148 is the Bitcoin improvement protocol that was going to have the potential of creating a hard fork situation. And what happened is that someone proposed this SegWit 2x BIP 91 proposal. So the BIP 148 proposal was the user activated soft fork, and without getting into all the reasons down this chain, it could have been possible with the BIP 148 that a hard fork could have occurred, a hard fork could have persisted, and a hard fork could have existed throughout the foreseeable forever with Bitcoin, where there'd be essentially two Bitcoins, just as right now there's two different Ethereums. But to prevent this user-activated soft fork BIP 148, which had the strong potential of creating this hard fork two Bitcoin situation, no matter how temporary that may or may not have been, if the SegWit 2x BIP 91 proposal was to get activated, and it is now activated, it will activate, it will lock in, then that would that would divert away from the possibility of a hard fork being created, because while the BIP 148 was a user-activated soft fork, and not all of the miners agreed for whatever reason with the BIP 148 user-activated soft fork, at least 80% of all the computers and nodes and servers that are mining Bitcoin and running the Bitcoin software, over 80% of them have signaled for the BIP 91 that is going to activate SegWit. The majority of miners have signaled that they're going to be active for SegWit, and so that diverts the possibility of a hard fork situation happening. But it only diverts the possibility right now, because let's look through this. So up here, July 17th to July 29th, the SegWit 2x BIP 91, does it reach 80% support? And we know now for a fact this answer is yes. It will lock in. It does reach 80% miner support. So the SegWit locks in, and it's going to activate in 2 weeks, just as it has on the Litecoin network, where Litecoin has already activated SegWit. Litecoin is already running SegWit. There have been no issues or problems known about. If anything, the Litecoin price has surged, and there's a lot of excitement about the possibilities and the opportunities that SegWit is going to be providing, not only Litecoin, but really Litecoin's bigger, better, badder brother, Bitcoin. So that's the situation with the hard fork situation that everyone's been worried about. Now, granted, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays into the August 1st date, because there's definitely a lot of details here and nuances here that I'm not including in this information. But the SegWit is going to be activated. The hard fork is seemingly completely diverted. But while the SegWit is activated with BIP 91, that was the first half of what is known as SegWit 2x. The second half of SegWit 2x comes in this fall, not that long away, just a couple months here, when there's this agreement where the miners are going to all increase the block size to a 2 megabyte block size. That's the 2x part of the SegWit 2x. The SegWit 2x agreement that came out of the New York conference just a couple months ago was we're going to activate SegWit and then immediately follow that through a block size increase, increasing from the 1 megabyte block size to the 2 megabyte block size, even though the SegWit software is going to have an effect of increasing the block size at least 2 megabytes and by as much as 4 megabytes by segregating the data and allowing for more space on the chain for these messages to go back and forth. But what we have here is that in the fall, when this hard fork does happen, if the 2 megabyte hard fork reaches 100% miner support, then the 2 megabyte block size increase is going to be activated. And if the 2 megabyte hard fork does not have 100% miner support, then there creates the possibility still of there being a split in Bitcoin, a split in the blockchain, although a split in that version of Bitcoin, they would both have segregated witness activated on them. So it's still really important for you to hold your keys. It's still really important for you to understand what's happening, what's going on. It's still critical that you don't leave your Bitcoin on an exchange, that you leave your Bitcoin in a wallet that is decentralized, a wallet that only you know what the access to is, only you have the private keys to, because things could move very, very rapidly. The Bitcoin price started to skyrocket today around, I think, 6 a.m. on East Coast time. And what we have is, you know, through the course of this whole half a day, the price has gone up practically $1,000. So seeing the price go up another $1,000 next week, or even more significantly than that, is just not outside of the realm of possibility, since it's not as if additional Bitcoin can be added to the supply. Not only that, but you got to recognize that I've been getting a lot of questions wondering, should people purchase Bitcoin with the hard fork potentially coming, or should they probably stay away until the hard fork situation passes? And it's really, really interesting, because some people have the philosophy of staying out of Bitcoin until we get past all of this nonsense with these software upgrades. And so there's this huge percentage of people that don't want anything to do with Bitcoin right now because of the whole mess with the news and all this upgrading stuff. So all that money is going to flood into Bitcoin later, dramatically increasing that price once they feel as if there's no risk of a coin split or anything of that nature, dramatically increasing the price for all the holders who are holding right now. And at the same time, the opposite end of that sort of thought pattern is that some people want to purchase as much Bitcoin as they can now before the potential of a hard fork, so that if and when Bitcoin was to have a permanent hard fork, they would have as many Bitcoins as possible on both chains. You know, if you think about it, if you have, you know, if you're holding your own keys and Bitcoin ever splits or does have some sort of situation like that, it's a win-win situation, or a win-neutral situation if, you know, you're holding those Bitcoins and they split and something ever happens. You need to think about it. 10 years later, it's just like finding old gold coins, except, you know, that's not something that the state is going to necessarily confiscate like we've seen in other news in the past. It's just a lot going on. It's really intense. It's really, really exciting. The lows are really low and the highs are really high. And that's why it's the whole roller coaster of Bitcoin, the roller coaster of cryptocurrency. It's why it's sometimes too hot to handle for a lot of people, and some people just, you know, don't want to stay in the game. And that's just really risky, because, as a lot of people say, it's not about timing the market, when to get in and when to get out, but it's more important to consider time in the market and your total time of just existing and just having a little bit of skin in the game and a little piece of the action, if you will, just to have ownership and to contribute to the amazing technology that is being rapidly developed all around us. We have all of these advances around Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, and so forth. And at the same time, there's a lot of different risks. So it's really important that you do your due diligence, that you pay attention, that you look up information, that you verify information. Anything that you hear me say, anything that you hear anybody say, you really want to, you know, not just read the headline, but click on the link, read the information in the article, Google the information in that article and look it up and try to find it, to really put the pieces together for yourself, so there aren't these people out there that are pulling fast ones on you, getting you to sell your Bitcoin at $1,000 discount, only for it to increase $1,000, you know, a couple days later. It's just amazing what's happening. So with that being said, you know, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'm super excited and always happy to make myself available and to, you know, help provide any clarity where I can. And I'm really excited to continue bringing these shows. I'm really excited to get to a point where I'm getting these shows produced and out to you on a daily basis. But I have to be honest, it's really, really difficult. And you know, being a father and having 5 kids and, you know, all the different responsibilities, you know, it's not something right now that I can do full time, but this is something that I want to do full time. This is something that I'm committed to doing full time, and I'm going to be doing my best to providing you this information and providing this news. And I just want to thank you for being part of the show, for sticking with me, for checking out the show notes below and supporting any way you can, even by watching this video, even by tapping that like button and subscribing. It's just a lot of good energy. It's just a lot of gratitude that I have for you. And thank you for showing up. Thanks for being part of this show. Tap that like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll talk again soon. I'm glad that in the meantime, together, we're minting coins.